The global music landscape is witnessing a massive shift in how international dominance is defined, as fans and industry analysts increasingly compare the worldwide impact of BTS member Jungkook to the historic market control of Western pop titans like Taylor Swift. For years, the conventional blueprint for total musical saturation was epitomized by Western superstars who could claim unbroken streaks atop the Billboard charts, fill consecutive nights at massive domestic stadiums, and command a localized economic engine driven by physical media and massive multi-city tours. However, Jungkook's rapid transition from the core powerhouse vocalist of the world's biggest group to an elite, record-shattering solo artist has completely redefined these boundaries, establishing an unprecedented modern phenomenon where a South Korean soloist commands identical global capital, streaming longevity, and cultural authority. This comparison gains substantial weight when examining the mathematical reality of their respective statistical feats, particularly on global streaming giants like Spotify and the definitive international tallies of Billboard. The meteoric rise of his solo debut track 7 provided the definitive proof that his reach was not merely localized to standard pop music niches but possessed a universal, scale-defying momentum that directly rivaled the historic chart sweeps commonly seen during major Western album rollouts. When Spotify unveiled its historic metrics tracking the most successful debut tracks in the platform's history, the list was famously dominated almost entirely by Taylor Swift's cultural juggernauts, yet it was Jungkook who disrupted this absolute monopoly by claiming a towering spot among the top 10 with 7, which achieved a spectacular streaming debut of over 16 million streams on its very first day. This historic entry marked a profound moment of cross-cultural validation, demonstrating that a solo artist singing in both English and Korean could command the exact same instantaneous, hyper-concentrated global attention that Western pop icons spend decades cultivating. The longevity of this commercial footprint has shattered long-held industry assumptions regarding the shelf life of international releases, cementing Jungkook as a permanent fixture at the highest echelon of the global music market. His debut single did not merely peak rapidly and fade, instead, it embarked on an unprecedented, multi-year residency on the world's most competitive charts, officially surpassing a staggering 3 billion streams on Spotify to become the first song by any Asian artist in history to achieve this milestone. This incredible durability is further reflected in his performance on the Billboard Global 200 and the Billboard Global excluding United States charts, where 7 has maintained an uninterrupted run for over 150 consecutive weeks, registering as the longest charted solo track by an Asian singer since the inception of these global tracking metrics. While Western industry structures have historically favored domestic artists through heavy terrestrial radio rotation and localized playlist positioning, Jungkook's ability to sustain hundreds of weeks of continuous charting completely independently of traditional Western industry gatekeeping mirrors the resilient, fandom-driven consumption model that powers Taylor Swift's continuous chart presence. The continuous streaming power of his subsequent solo offerings, including the slick R&B-infused single 3D featuring Jack Harlow and the soaring stadium-ready anthem Standing Next to You, further solidified this position, allowing him to place multiple tracks simultaneously on international charts for over 300 cumulative weeks and demonstrating that his solo catalog possesses the structural depth of a career pop icon. This level of chart insulation points directly to the underlying structural engine driving both artists, in fiercely loyal, globally distributed, and highly organized fandom capable of shifting international market indicators overnight. Just as the massive community of Swifties can instantly propel catalog tracks from years past back into the upper echelons of the Billboard Hot 100 through coordinated streaming campaigns and physical purchasing waves, Jungkook's dedicated global fanbase operates as a highly sophisticated, borderless promotional machine. This intense fan engagement translates into tangible economic power that has caught the attention of global corporate entities and traditional financial institutions alike. When Jungkook was appointed as the global ambassador for the iconic fashion house Calvin Klein, the immediate consumer reaction was nothing short of a massive retail disruption. With promotional campaigns sparking instant sellouts of specific denim and apparel lines across international flagship stores and driving unprecedented digital traffic to the brand's e-commerce platforms. This instantaneous monetization of a single individual's public image highlights a direct parallel to the corporate partnerships and brand-shifting capabilities seen in the West. Proving that his cultural capital extends far beyond the confines of digital music streaming into the broader realms of global fashion, luxury consumer habits, and lifestyle trends. The macroeconomic implications of this unparalleled star power become even more apparent when analyzing the massive financial projections surrounding major live music events and international touring frameworks. Historically, the massive live entertainment sector was viewed through the lens of sheer volume, exemplified by expansive, multi-year stadium treks like the Eras Tour, which generated historic revenues across nearly 150 shows by leveraging deep domestic markets and massive stadium capacities. However, the contemporary live music landscape is witnessing the rise of a highly concentrated, ultra-efficient economic model often described as a masterclass in hyper-monetization. Financial analysts and global news agencies like Reuters have pointed out that major international stadium endeavors tied to the wider ecosystem of these global icons are projected to generate total revenues reaching up to $2 billion from a significantly tighter, more focused schedule of performances. This means that while traditional Western models rely on massive, exhausting schedules to cross financial milestones, the sheer density of audience demand and the extraordinary purchasing power of the modern pop fandom allow these events to achieve identical financial heights with a fraction of the tour dates. In regions like Latin America, the economic impact of this hyper-concentrated demand has completely reset local commercial records. For instance, localized data from regional chambers of commerce highlighted that specific international stadium stops generated over $100 million in direct economic impact over just a 3-night residency, handily outperforming the economic footprints left by established Western stadium tours in the exact same venues. His massive financial influx alters the local economies of host cities entirely, creating a visible wave of consumer spending that revitalizes hospitality sectors, local transportation networks, international aviation demand, and domestic tourism indicators. The announcement of a high-profile appearance or a major concert series triggers an immediate, massive spike in global digital search volume for travel accommodations and flights. With certain regional hubs experiencing surges in travel queries